Welcome and karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today I'm going to share with you how I'm making this wonderful, very light, old-fashioned butterscotch cake. And I've got some brown sugar here. This is what makes the butterscotch cake a butterscotch. And I've got some flour with some baking powder, baking soda, and a pinch of salt. I also have some eggs, which are room temperature. And I have some buttermilk, also room temperature, butter, and some vanilla. I'm going to start with the butter and brown sugar. You want to start on low speed, and then you can increase it to speed 2. And you want it to be a little light and fluffy. And then after that, add vanilla. So you may need to beat this for about 2 to 3 minutes to get that consistency. And then now, once you're finished with vanilla, you're gonna bring down your speed to 1, and then add 1 egg at a time. As soon as 1 is combined, you're gonna add the second one and then the third one. And for this cake, I'm going to be using 2 8-inch pans, round pans. You could use 2 9, or you could use 3 8-inch pans. That also would work fine for you. Okay, so once that's done here, I'm going to scrape my bowl to make sure that everything is well combined before I add my next ingredients. You want to make sure that the butter is not stuck at the bottom. Okay, and we're going to do the alternating method here. That is the buttermilk and the flour. So the flour is going to be divided into 3 portions. You don't have to measure it. So as soon as you're done, you add the flour. You're going to add your buttermilk immediately. Okay, this avoids over mixing or over beating your batter. Okay, and then you're going to add the flour again. As you can see, mine is not well combined. Okay, because it's going to combine anyway as we go by. Okay, so then I'm going to add my second portion of the buttermilk. That's the last portion actually. And then finishing my flour. Okay, and I'm just going to mix this for about 2 minutes. Not so much. Okay, and you don't have to worry about this being well combined, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the machine right here, and I'm going to do the rest of the mixing. I'm going to use my spatula and I'm going to fold it in to make sure all my ingredients are well combined. Like I say, you don't want to overbeat or overmix the batter. That makes your cake very dry. Okay, so after this, my pans are prepared already. I have spread some fat on it. You can use butter, you can use oil, and dusted some flour, or you can use parchment paper if you like. And then just divide the batter into 2 pans or 3 pans if you're using. And this is going to bake at 350 for about 30 minutes if you're using 2 pans. But if you're using 3 pans, you could do 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. This is a very light cake. The batter looks thick, but it's very light and it's very moist. It's not a dense cake. It can be served on its own. It doesn't really require any buttercream. Okay, so you want to tap your pans to make sure that all the extra air bubbles are removed. Okay, so now my cakes are done and I'm waiting for them to cool. And then in the meantime, I'm working on my caramel buttercream. Now I have this buttercream. I'm going to add some caramel. I have the video of this in my basic buttercream. Look out for that. And I also have a video on how to make caramel sauce. And you can add as much caramel as you want or as little as you want. Okay, now this is a little bit light, so I'm going to keep this in the fridge to set for a while because it was leftover buttercream that I had it for cupcakes. Now I'm going to trim my cakes here. And you want to do the slight on the side. I don't know how to explain it in in what do you call baking terms, okay? But this is called the sew motion, okay? So you want to do it outwards, and then you go right in the middle, to slice, to cut the whole cake, the whole portion that you want to cut it off. Okay, and then I'm going to do the second cake. Okay, so now I'm going to ice my cake. Okay, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Okay, so I've got some little buttercream here on the board so my cake can stick at the bottom. Now you can make two cakes out of this, 2 layers of this if you want. But today I just want to make it simple. This is for the house. Nothing fancy, so I just wanted to be like that. And I prefer to use the bags because then I don't have to spread the buttercream evenly. Okay, so just put the second layer. As you can see, it's very thick, but it's fine. If you want to do it this way, if you want to make it into 4, it's fine. Okay, and what I decided, I was going to go ahead and ice the cake all the way, but then I remember that I need to show you that we need to crumb coat, so I've started with my icing in the wrong way. So because this cake is even though it's soft and moist, but it doesn't have much crumbs. As you can see, I don't really have crumbs. But then I'm just gonna start at the top and then spread my buttercream on the sides to cover the rest of the cake. Now for the crumb coat, this is called the crumb coat. Basically, you want to cover you want to coat the crumbs, basically. And you don't want to put too much buttercream because you'll be putting more buttercream to your cake. But like I say, I was gonna straight away cover it, and then I remembered to show you, so I have a little bit extra of buttercream than usual. Okay, and then I'm finishing the top, removing all the excess from the edge. I prefer to start from the top and then the sides. Okay, so then this is gonna go in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes. It's going to firm up, and then I'm going to add the rest of the buttercream. Okay, so now this is done, and it's ready. It was in the fridge for 15 minutes, and then now I'm going to do my buttercream. Like I say, I prefer to do the top first and then the sides. Now you can do it like the way I'm doing it. Applying the buttercream in a circular motion, or you can do it horizontal, whatever you prefer, whatever works for you. Okay, so I'm just putting all the buttercream all over. I don't have much of the buttercream, so I don't know how far this will take me. Okay, so there we go, and then I'm spreading on the top. Like I say, I prefer to start from the top and then do the sides, and then taking off the excess. And I'm using my offset spatula, the big one. You can use a small one too, that works perfectly. And then I'm just gonna spread it evenly. You can do this with the offset spatula, or you can do it with the the benchmark scraper. Okay, and then remove the excess. I'm sorry, my camera angle is not as how I wanted it to be, but next time I'll try and put it in such a way where you can see how I position the benchmark scraper. It looks like it's slanting, but it's not. It's actually straight, but I was trying to show you from the camera, from the angle of the camera, so that you could see. But now when I look at the video, I noticed that it shows that it's sliding from the angle. Okay, so now the sides are almost done, but I need to cover up these patches, as you can see. So we're just gonna add some extra buttercream. And when you start in the beginning, you can put as much buttercream as you want, because then you're just going to scrape it off while you're smoothing your cake. Okay, so adding some more buttercream over here, and here to add to cover the brown patches. So now again, I'm using my benchmark scraper. You could also use the the spatula if it works for you. Actually, for me, when I do the benchmark scraper, I start from the right, but when I do the spatula, I start from the left. Somehow that's how it works. So we are removing, and I like to do this slowly, little by little. Some people like to do it, all at one time. I like to take my own time and do it slowly, and it looks smooth and not so great, but looks beautiful. Okay, so now I'm taking off the excess from the top, and you want to have if you're using spatula or if you're using the benchmark scraper, you just want to slightly turn it into facing yourself. That's how you remove the excess. Okay, and every time you remove the excess, you want to take off the buttercream from your spatula or whatever tool that you're using, so that way you don't stick it back to the cake. Okay, so yeah, that's it. You want to make sure this is just simple. This is for the house, so I'm not very particular today to make really smooth edges and sharp edges. So I still got little buttercream here, and I'm just gonna make few designs. Let me see how far it will take me. And you can, if you have some caramel, I don't have, this is perfect if you drizzle some caramel sauce on the top. I'm gonna add some pecans, for my garnish. And that's it. This is a perfect cake for tea or anything for that matter. Okay, thank you very much. And for more recipes, please visit me at Aroma of Zanzibar.